So here I am again, and you might be asking, why am I making these videos? And I can't actually tell you, I'm not really sure, but I've been on holidays and I was thinking today, do I really want to keep making these videos? What's really the point? And I just thought, I want to be able to share, like it's always been this way, but it's just come home again after having such a long break, like almost a month. It's come home to me again that I really want to share what people have told me, what the books I've read. It's all other people's knowledge. Obviously we're not born just all knowing. I think everybody knows that. And so when we get information from people who have experienced it, mostly older people who have experienced things, they've tried things, they've experimented, and they want to pass on. I want to pass on the things that I've learned. So please don't look at me and think I'm old enough really to experience very much. I'm mostly just gathering what people have told me and experimented and found what works. So this video is about when the kids are sick, and my kids have just recently been pretty sick and it was miserable and I did so many things wrong. But there are some things I did right that I want to show you because they worked. Essential oils. Everybody gets a bit of a kick out of making fun of somebody who's really into essential oils, me included. But yeah, they're easy pickings for making fun. But I'm also one of those people who really believe in them. They really work. Sometimes they don't work, and in that scenario, I think you're using them wrong, or something else is at play, or the disease has gone too far out of your hands. I'm not really sure, but they honestly work so often that it's worth just trying them. It's just worth trying them, especially with young kids, because they have very little side effects when used properly. I would argue that they have no negative side effects when used properly versus uh, versus conventional method medicine, which just you just look up on the internet and the side effects are just there's a plethora of side effects. So that's a win, especially with kids, because it's not just you're taking risks with, it's your kids. So essential oils really work. And a little bit of biblical proof if anybody's still not sure about it. Psalms 104, verse 14 and 15. He causeth the grass to grow for cattle, talking about God, and herb for the service of men. And essential oils are basically all herbs that have taken the most useful part of the herb and put it into a bottle. And for me, that's, I don't know, fairly obvious that God designed herbs for our healing and that we should use them. The other thing is when they've got a snotty nose, saline spray, so salt water up the nose. It's awful. They hate it. I got to pin them down to do it, but it really works. It helps clear out the mucus. Those little bottles that suck, I didn't really find them that great. So saline spray can really get up there. Colloidal silver, I was told by Mrs. Crow, who is a legend. I didn't actually try the colloidal silver up the nose, but I believe anything she says. Also, having a nice hot steamy shower and then either turning on the cold and having your baby on you, or going and opening the freezer or anywhere cold. It just kicks the immune system into gear. And I did that and I didn't get sick. I was on the brink of it so many times because they're coughing in my face, and obviously, you're around your kids a lot and it's easy to pick up diseases that they've got. They get it from you, you get it from them. But yeah, I actually went on holidays to Phillip Island where there was a sauna and a cold pool at the outside, and my brother-in-law, my brother, my sister, their husbands and wives respectively, we all went to the sauna one day, sat in the sauna, told stories, and then jumped into the cold pool. And I am so convinced that helped me ward off this cold. I didn't do it. I wasn't doing it because of that, but I'm so glad I did. It felt amazing. It felt like out of this world good. Anyway, so with your kids to help their immune systems kind of just kick into gear. Have a nice hot shower with them. So have them on you. They don't even have to be under the water, just the steam constantly coming up. Have a nice hot shower morning and night, 3 times a day, 4 times a day if you need to, because it really just helps. The steam gets up into the sinuses, gets into the lungs, gets into the everywhere there's mucus, and it just helps break it down. All that moisture helps break it down. Anywhere where everything's dry, you may think, oh, let's put the heater on to keep everything warm, but it can dry out the air. And when the air's dry, you're breathing that air, every time you breathe, and it can dry out the mucus and make it really difficult to dislodge. And for kids, that's a huge deal, because they don't know how to blow their nose, and they don't really know. I mean, they know how to cough, they don't know how to get rid of mucus. They'll just swallow it again. So helping break it down is really useful. So a hot shower, and then if you want to kick that immune system in, go out into the cool breeze, go take a walk in the cool air, or open the freezer for 5 minutes and just read a book in front of the freezer. It sounds kind of awful, but I really believe that worked. Have a lot of patience, which is so hard to just make yourself do. But if you just relax and think, this is not normal, they're not going to be sick forever. I really actually struggled with this, and when I listened to my mother-in-law, Joy Binstead, who's also a legend, I just listened to her, finally, and she said, don't worry about, if your son, my son Paddy, he doesn't like eating at the best of times. He's just not a big eater. He's a bit like his dad. But I was so convinced that he needed protein, and so I was really trying to get him to eat his chicken. And we were both so frustrated. He was so frustrated, poor thing. And when I look back, I'm thinking, oh, I'm such an idiot. I'm so stupid. I don't cotton on to things, and I'm so strict sometimes. And so I finally listened to my mother-in-law, and she said, just fruit juices, preferably fresh fruit juices with no added sugar. Ice cream, healthy ice cream, frozen fruits, things that are cooling, things that are just nice. Anyway, I just relaxed a little bit with my stupid, strict schedule and just fed him what he wanted. And I realized that he probably had a swollen throat. He didn't want to eat lumpy chicken, or I'm not really sure. But I just relaxed a little bit and realized this time is not forever. He's sick. And isn't that at all about the human experience? When we're adults, we don't go to work when we're sick. There's different circumstances. We stay in bed all day, or we just drink broth, or, that's what we should be doing when we're sick. And we take allowances. It's not like we live like that. And for kids, it's the same, Yes, let them sleep in a bit longer. Put them down for a few extra naps. Let them eat what they want, as long as it's fairly healthy, I'm preaching to the choir here. I really gotta, yeah. Anyway, and the last thing is to pray. Just pray for them. Pray for them to get through this, and pray for them to just understand that they're sick, but they're not going to be sick forever. And that, I think, for kids especially who are not talking, it's hard for them to express how they're feeling and what they're feeling, and so they can just get into a really whingy, moody phase. For me, my kids, it's been like 3 weeks. Actually, for Paddy, he's 2. He's been so moody for the last couple of weeks. My other son, he was fairly sick. Anyway, pray. But the biggest practical piece of advice, that's not prayer. Prayer is hugely practical, but the other piece of advice is to really get them in the shower or in the bath. My kids love it in the bath, so just have a steamy hot bath, or maybe not steamy, but try and let the hot water run in the bathroom so it's hot. But for my kids, they liked being on me, having a shower, and so the steam would come up into their sinuses, and I could have it as pretty much as hot as I could with them right in the steam. and them not necessarily getting wet or too hot. Yeah, but then I'd run it a bit cooler, put some water on their head, let it just run down, and that would clear them up for a good while. And also, don't be afraid to use some Panadol. I could be stung in the butt in a couple of years, and we find out that Panadol is actually terrible. But, Panadol is a bit of a lifesaver, especially at night. During the day, there's too many distractions for them to be really worried. They might be a bit grizzly, but they're not going to be seriously in pain because kids are really masters at distraction. But when it's at night, and they've got no distractions, it's dark, they're meant to be sleeping, they know they're meant to be sleeping, they're tired, it can be a really awful time. So yeah, I use Panadol. Some parents are really against using Panadol, and that's totally fine because I'm against a lot of things. But I just think temporary pain relief for things I know the problem is a cold, or I know the problem is teething, or I know the problem, I'm hesitant to just be like, oh, I've got a headache, take a Panadol. Obviously your headache's there for a reason, and for kids, I think that's very important to distinguish what's going on. But once you do know what's going on, I think pain relief, it can be a great thing. Anyway, that's my video. I'm going to go and do some gardening. Bye.